Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here, and what you're seeing in front of you is it's sort of the result area after I reorganized stamps and stencils, which I talked about in a video for the Stamp and Stencil Savvy series. And I had several people comment on my space and ask questions about it, and this is kind of a progress report video. I concentrated primarily on keeping the things I use most often handy when I'm filming. And I do not mind when I shop my collections, which are kind of kept there and in that series of drawers, right? Let's see, am I getting my finger in front of there? Anyway, it's, so I'll kind of take you quickly through some things. I'll start with what I did not organize. Up at the top here, I have lots of mixed media things on these turntables and over here. And the God's honest truth is I don't use this stuff as much as I did when I was doing a lot of art journaling and trying to figure out how different mediums reacted with each other and with color and all kinds of things. These days, my mixed media is on layouts, and it's not that I won't use any of these things, it's that I don't use them very often. And I had my finger over the lens there. So I haven't touched any of that except to pull some things down that I knew I would not use, and that went in the available to others kind of mode. This shelf right here has a bunch of things also that I don't use too often. And so these two top shelves are yet to be addressed, and I don't honestly know when I'm going to get to that. But I'm going to sit down now because I want you to kind of see it as I see it when I sit at my desk. So this shelf I had talked about before. I have a lot of the stamps that I use for mixed media. You can kind of see this first one is I think this is a Bo Bunny stamp. It has sort of a wood grain and a bubbly look and a brick pattern, and then I've got some stitching and so forth. And I keep my inks that I use regularly. VersaFine is what I use for most of my stamping. It's the perfect ink in that it captures all the fine detail and shading and shadowing in your stamps. That's been a long time favorite of mine. I have this VersaMagic Cloud White that I just bought because I didn't have a good white ink, or I thought I didn't. And when I went through my inks, I'll show you in a minute, I found some white ink. This is a watermark stamp pad if I want to do embossing. And then this one is a Dazzle Versamark. It's also for embossing, but it gives, no matter what kind of ink you use, it gives your stamped image a little bit of a glitter look. Then I organized here these papers, the white, craft, and black in different sizes, are cardstock that I use for matting photos. Those are the only colors I usually matte photos in. These are all my foam sheets, and these are my foam scraps. These are envelopes, pockets, things that I can create pockets on layouts, and I found lots of these things and decided that I don't use those often enough. And I know Calvin Ball is coming up, and this might be one of the requirements. These are from different collections over the years, and I have I know this is it's a clear pocket that glues on. It's an Amy Tangerine, I recognize that. And then I've got something else that probably doesn't belong here, but it's a type of embellishment that I can't really put anywhere else because they're so fragile. These are dried leaves. And then I have 2 sets of creative tags. And some of you may remember a huge unboxing I did a while back when my former daughter-in-law's stepfather died, and he had kept her mother's scrapbooking supplies after her mother passed away, which was before I met her. And so when Charlie passed away, Nikki got her mother's scrapbooking supplies and trucked them straight on over here. So I didn't go, I went through them kind of to show them to you at the time, had some vague idea, and then I kind of stuffed them in an area that was away from my main working area, and then only used a few of the things along the way. So these are some things I found there that I know I will use. There were some other things I tried that I decided weren't. So I think I'm going to put that tag, that sticking up, so that I remember there's a whole slew of white tags here that I can do mixed media on. Then we go down to the next shelf. The next shelf is filled with sequins. These are all my Spiegelmom Scraps sequins. Ooh, that's a pretty set called Fancy Pants. Anyway, and then I added in, these are some little pink fresh jewels that were sent to me by Anne. I thank you, Anne, very, very much. I love these, and I love the lavender collection that you sent. And I had these in a different place, and I decided to put them with my sequins. Same with some other little bits of things, like these little, looks like candy drops. Those would have been so cute on a Christmas page, and I totally didn't know that I had these until I went through everything. And so what I haven't told you is, over the past weeks, well, actually 9 days, I spent about 45 hours, all total, going through absolutely every embellishment. And when I say embellishment, I don't mean the embellishments that go with collections. I mean the embellishments, well, in some cases they do go with collections, or at least themes. And all the different storage places I had them, and I culled out the things I didn't think I'd ever use, or that I'm tired of, or don't ever want to see again in my stash. And I'm dividing them into a batch of stuff that goes to Goodwill and another batch that goes to the elementary school. I'll show you in a minute the batches I've built. So in this process, I went through this area, which is enamel dots and puffy hearts, and very, what I call tiny embellishments. And then there's this one, which I haven't used. Well, there are these also, like gold stars and gold hearts and gold circles that are back there. But I also have this embellishment that for $1.49, John got this for me, and it had some things. This was in the, I think we got it for a dime or something. It was in the, what are those bins, those giveaway bins almost at one of the big box stores. And it had some things glued onto this part and this part of this, the word "you." And I have never used it because it's kind of big and it's kind of gaudy, and because those things were missing, I didn't know what to put there. But I've decided that, darn it, John got this for me. I'm embarrassed that I didn't use it while he was alive and could see the page, because he liked contributing to my pages. And so I'm going to do this. I might save it and do it on the 8th of some month. Like, we have a February 8th coming up, which is the anniversary, 4th anniversary, blows me away, of his passing. And so I'm going to use this on a page that I do that day, or for that day. And over here, I didn't organize that. It's just a bunch of pins and small things and my labels that I put on the back of layouts, and so on and so forth, and rulers, and then there's more little small things that belong here. I'm going to do this a little bit better. I think I have a better container solution for that. And containers. People have asked me about containers. This is a stand that I bought from scrapbook.com when they had it on special sometime, I don't know, last year or the year before. You can see it is a stadium style stand, and I have some things back in here, some stamps here, and then I have these. Now, I've discovered a whole bunch more stamps that are like this, so I'm going to find some container that goes up a little deeper and put those in it. I found a couple of loose snowflake stamps. I will kind of put those there, and I have my acrylic blocks there. This is a container. You will see lots of these containers. These containers, I love seaweed snacks, the dried crispy seaweed. And I have, these are the containers that they come in. And I have a million of these because I've been eating that stuff for years. And so I use these. I don't, and this was a silverware container in a silverware drawer that I had before I got my current silverware drawer that already had a rack in it. So I have lots of these little containers that I use, and I'll show you in my closet. This box I got, I don't know, a gift came in that box maybe 10, 20 years ago, and I've kept it, and I use the lid of it to hold the things that don't need a deep container. And this right here is a container that, I don't know, deli meat or something like that came in. I save and wash vegetable containers and things like that. I recycle them when I don't need them, but a lot of them I gather, I keep together in a closet in case I need to organize things here. This I got back when I did a lot of Project Life. It was meant to organize Project Life cards, and it's now organizing sequins. And my little Fox zines that come with the Fox boxes. And I think I also have a plastic bag there that contains the paper snips. I don't need to bring those out. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, these are, I ordered some bottles for glue. And I thought it showed 2 in the picture. I didn't realize that I would get this many, but I'm not upset about that. So I am keeping those. It's good that I pulled these out because I wouldn't have known where those were. And then I have a few stencils here that I don't want to keep there anymore. So I'm going to put those here. I've got another place that I'll put those. The last time that I showed my workspace, this rack right here was where this one is. And this is a rolling cart that has mixed media supplies and my brayers for gel prints. And it needs to be organized. I need to unload it and reload it, but this is where I'm going to want it. And it holds my my power strip for all the plugs for lights and cameras and computers and stuff. Another thing that's new is this stack of boxes under my desk contain, the top one is labeled alphas. Those are alpha stamps. And the next three contain, the top one contains tiny alphas. The middle one contains maybe larger alphas and some sayings and like phrase strips, things like that. And the bottom one is filled with larger words that could be used as titles. Because they're in these pretty boxes, I never look at them. And to be honest, when I want a big title or something, and if I'm looking for ideas, I come to my my Vicky Boutin box here that has large words and titles. And in the mixed media kit, there are a bunch of these. So I thought if I brought them here, I can go through them and see what I use, what I think I'll use and what I don't. And I might be able to reduce them, but I think just having them here, I'll reach for them and look for something maybe while I'm designing a layout, while I'm first coming up with a layout. Okay, now we go to my table. And I have to reach all of this stuff. First of all, I will tell you that I have this. I bought this stamp holder when Tim Holtz only had 60 colors of Distress Oxides. And that's all, or Distress inks or anything, any of the Distress products. There are only 60 colors. And so I thought that's all there would ever be. And so I bought that and I put them all in and labeled them really unprofessionally. But I took strips of paper and I rubbed them against the pad so I could see the color on the outside. And it has worked for me for years. Above it, I have these little applicators. And I think I've explained before, I use these applicators to get, when I want a really heavy concentration of the color and I want to be able to press hard and get a lot of color through a stencil. This one is for lightly brushing color over a stencil or not. These are different applicators for different kinds of mediums. They're different sponges. That was one of the best table gifts that I got from Secret Sister at a retreat, and I have used these a lot. These are the first ink applicators that I ever got, and they're Tim Holtz brushes, and the brush kind of, you get a few hairs that you have to brush away, but the effect is like nothing else. I like these brush, when I brush on, you can go heavy, you can go light, you can adjust these. If you go push it down and leave more of the brush exposed, that's going to be a lighter touch. If you push this up and get just a little bit, you can do it kind of hard and get a concentrated. color. These are wonderful, and I use them some widespread areas or to get a certain type of velvety look. And it's a little bit different from this. Now, containers. This little bucket came with some flowers in it one time, and I have another one like that, I think, that's pink somewhere. These containers I did purchase. The little sponges came in that container. This is a drink container from a vacation one time. It's advertising cruise on rum. And let's see. Now we'll go to other containers. This little container right here, I've probably had, again, for 10 or 15 years. And I've used it for various things. It was in the kitchen at one time, and I'm using it now. I'll show you in a minute how I organized stuff. But you know, you can kind of see this is these were vegetables with a dip in the middle, and I cleaned that out. This came from a dollar store. It was $1. And a million years ago, I bought several little like melamine trays and containers at the time. This is from that same set that the silverware. It was a set of drawer organizers, at least 20 years old. And this was a gift from Heather Little at one of her Heather's excuse me, Heather's Crafty Life retreats. And this is a drinking glass from a restaurant called Holmes that no longer exists. What is this? This is a I don't know where that came from. It's a plastic container that seemed to be big enough to hold things like punches and scissors. And then I have another one of these. This is John's and mine, these drinks. I think these were some kind of frozen concoction that came in here. And I have my tape gun. I just kind of leave it in there, and then I put little baby paper scraps in there and then dump them when it gets full. It's probably ready now. I gave Barrett a set of paint brushes, and I'm going to trade him these cheap ones for the expensive ones when he gets them back. And I found this thing. This is something that John picked up, and I thought it was like a road trip, like a diary or something. I had never opened it, and I kind of had it with some travel supplies, stash, papers and embellishments. And like I said, I thought it was a book with some blank pages. What it is a whole group of sticky notes with a travel theme to them, a car trip theme. So who doesn't need these? And I love them. So I'm going to keep this right here handy on my desk, so that anytime I have to make a note of a layout that's due for a challenge or anything like that, there's my thing. There's my stand that holds my phone while I'm recording. And now we're going to go to embellishments. I went through all the millions of places that my embellishments lived, and I'll show you. I had these two buckets here, these two containers. These were full. It's filled with 4x6 size little containers in all those beautiful rainbow colors. So I completely emptied all of those. I also had embellishments in these boxes, and I didn't use them because they had lids on them, and down on the bottom row there underneath those trays of bramble fox embellishments. And so I went through everything and I came up with lots of stuff that I was happy to give away. And then I started organizing, consolidating everything, pretty much everything, into these two trays. And I'll show you what the difference is. You can see that I've divided these things in, like this one has chipboard. These have some large wood embellishments. These are corner protectors. These are labels and tabs. These are speech bubbles, kind of fabric puffy balls. These are, what are these? These are words. And this is all what I call stringy scraps that are just small bits of string. Look at these. These, Christina Sorge put these in one of my Secret Not Secret Kit Club kits. And I used the heck out of them, and I ordered some more and got more, and then I stored them someplace that I didn't remember. These are large, kind of multi-dimensional 3D sorts of things, and like these pegs, I guess my British friends call them. I call them clothespins. And these are glittery. They're painted and glittery, and they're so cute. And I forgot I had them. I forgot I had most of these things. And then I have these little, these pins. I usually take the back off and remove the pin and glue it down onto a page. And then these things that came from some collection. Anyway, miscellaneous 3D. And then here's a little bin with stuff. Now, this has a variety of things that might or might not be on a Calvin Ball list. And it's a lot of, there's rainbows and umbrellas, weather-related things, these clouds. So I'll know where to go if it calls for clouds or something. And then we go down here, and these film strips were part of that stash from Nikki. I have, again, I don't need to go through every one of them. You can kind of see this one is buttons, but it contains a piece of wood veneer that's too big to fit in another piece of wood veneer. But the wood veneer is right, the smaller wood veneer is right there. These are things to do with food and coffee and tea, and then animals, and you can see there's some avocados there. There are always avocados. And a lot of times they'll have Viewmasters, so I've got these that I can fussy cut. That's from a Stephen Duncan collection for Cartabella. And I've got various and sundry things that are fussy cut, like fussy cut houses. A lot of times they'll ask for a house on there and a bird, and this is a cute little bird cage with a bird, and it's a journaling block as well. So there's, and I know every single piece that's in there, and I have plans for it. so there. Up here, up on the top, I really maximized what this stores. I've got some of these wood background pieces that came from Bramble Fox. This is a set of punch-out embellishments that I decided I no longer have any of the pieces of that collection, but I want to use those on a page. And then I have some little, some other little pieces. This is stuff I want to use for pages pretty soon. Then I have some things that probably could or should go in those boxes down there. These are some small alphas and some phrase strips and so on and so forth. And these are some food stickers and some heart stickers and some other things. Those possibly, the food and the hearts, saving for Calvin Ball. I'm going to kind of stack those back. I'll put them on the table for right now. And then I have a lot of adhesive related stuff. And then I have hemp twine. And this twine, which I wish I could find some more of this. It's thinner and easier to work with than this hemp, but I have all the colors in the hemp. So this is a, like I said, that's stuff. Those are scissors and punches. These are some pens and some brushes. This is from these pens are rescued from my stash that I had reserved for doing planners. And then I have over here, there are pencils and palette knives and all kinds of things. I need to go through all of these holders and kind of call out what I don't think I'm going to use, get it where I have the handy stuff. Other things need to be gone through and reorganized. I kind of went through. These are my spray inks and I use them for a variety of things, most of which don't include spraying, but there's some paint pens and some more spray inks, some of these, and then embossing powders and some paints, just miscellaneous things. Need to go through and organize and group like things. And as I mentioned, that holder right there has 60 colors of distress oxides. And as you know, there are more than 60 colors now. So I keep the colors there and the neutrals here. So this has got the pumice stone and the walnut stain and the brushed corduroy and the gathered twigs and the vintage photo. And Helen, if you're watching, those are my browns, baby. I got a lot of browns. And then over here in the middle are, and the next two are, those are distress inks, not oxides. And as you can see, I don't have as many colors. And then these little ones are some Catherine Pooler inks in a variety of colors. It's one of her collections. And I don't know, these are some specialty Brutus Monroe inks that I got at a retreat. And then I have one color, peeled paint, doesn't fit here or there. So it stays on top. And I used it fairly often. This morning, I actually went through, I had two of these holders. And here's where I have the non-Tim Holtz inks. Variety of different colors, and I have some re-inkers. These were purchased for different classes I took over the years. And then I took here, when Archivers went out of business, they had a whole collection of opened inks that were used in classes and inks that hadn't been unwrapped that weren't part of the store inventory. They were part of the teaching or class inventory. And so they bundled those all up and sold them for like $10 a bag. And you didn't really know what you were getting. So I got lots and lots of inks, and I have a whole bag of others that I'm going to give away. And a lot of them are stays on in different colors. And I have another VersaFine. I have two VersaFine pads. So if I have somebody over with me, or the girls invite friends over and everybody's stamping, I've got several black stamp pads that they can use to stamp images and still color them in. I also went through 3 or 4 places where I was storing things like Nouveau drops, which are in here, and Stickles. I have the world's largest collection of Stickles. Not really, but I have the Stickles were stored way across the house in a drawer where the colors showed through the glass of the drawer, but I kind of forgot that they were there. So I'm bringing those out, and I'll kind of go through, and I can see I have several purples, and that's not unusual. I'm not likely to get rid of any purples, but I'm not sure if I need 2 or 3 of these coppery, ones. So I'll kind of see. These tend to get used a lot. If I have them out, they tend to get used a lot. And so I expect that I will. And then these are alcohol inks, and these are alcohol inks, and this is a blower to blow alcohol ink across the page. And speaking of pages, I actually located my alcohol ink paper. I have this little stack under the table that's right at my right hand, and it has my trimmer kind of stretched across the top, and then this first row, these are my heavy mixed media paper. This is white cardstock, this is black cardstock, and this down here is kind of specialty paper. It's like the next papers I want to use in a layout. I've found this paper, and I've got 2 copies of it. Okay, I have another place that this goes, that I want this to go. When I find things or kind of start things and decide that I want to create with them and want to put them in a handy place, if I put them in that bottom row, I kind of forget that they were there, and I just think that was more background paper. And so I found this holder as I was, and relieved it of its contents, and so I can use this, and I can keep it right beside me there. And in these 2 bins, I had they were filled bottom to top, and they sometimes would pop open. These were shoe containers. Back when I had 1,000,000 shoes, back when I was, a real human instead of an old lady, I kept my shoes in these things. I have 6 of them. I have 4 that I have not gone through. They're probably stuffed with mixed media kinds of things. So what I narrowed it down to now, this drawer, only contains these embossing. This is where you dust your embossing powder down and put it back in. I have a big one and a small one. And then there's some smaller size mixed media papers there. And then down at the bottom is, this is all to do with gel printing. There's the glass mat that I have my gel plate attached to, or just resting on, and it kind of sticks. And then I'm not even, and then I've got a few mixed media phrases and so forth that I printed up. I didn't go over the bottom row of this. We've seen the top, and then the handiest one, and then the next to handiest one. Then I have this big roll of foam tape, and that's just a kind of a handy place to put it. But right there is my very messy sewing stuff. It's for stitching on layouts, and I gave my sewing machine and my sewing notions storage to Katie, and so this is what I kept back for doing layouts. And then there's a large roll of chicken wire washi tape, which I love and use a lot, and I'm gonna hate when it runs out. Okay, so this is kind of my world that I live in when I'm making a video. And I'll now take you to a couple places. I will also show you that I have storage here on the TV stand, and this is that bleeding tissue paper, and it's in sheets, so I can cut it any shape I want. And then these are the little circles of bleeding tissue paper. And if you don't know what bleeding tissue paper is, stay tuned, because I'm going to make a bleeding tissue paper layout sometime soon, now that I've rediscovered it. And I have a lot of the, I use these things to blend colors and stuff. So I never throw away packaging. I just stack it up until it gets unattractive, and then I try to figure some way to use it. This is beyond, I need to stop saving packaging and just dispose of it as I empty it. But, you know, I just hate putting things in landfills. I'm kind of a nut that way. Haven't touched either any of those except to kind of look at them and see if I think I could store all my Vicki Boutin stuff, including the current stuff, in there, and all my Paige Evans stuff there. That already has all of my 49 in market. But if I could put all of this Vicki Boutin stuff in there, and all of this Paige Evans, these are the latest of these two designers. If I could put them there, that frees up these holders for other collections. I did go through all of my, this is my beachy, kind of subdued beachy stuff, like the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage, coastal, and this is my just pure travel stuff, travel to, you know, anywhere. And then this is my, wait, let's see, where did my, I have somewhere a bright colorful summer. I'll show you that in a minute. I did have one of these, but I freed it up. I have gotten into, I just got it in the house. I ordered the Bella Boulevard My Life 365 that has supplies that have you doing pages one for each month, and they have these little doodle pops and these embellishments and so forth. I got this collection from my little scrapbook store, which is one of my favorite online vendors. This is all Cocoa Vanilla, and then I have I have Paper Rose, which is also an Australian company. So this is my Australia bin. And then, and you can kind of see under there, these, you can, there are two things there and two things there that I need to address. And then these are my 6x6 pads, paper pads. There's a place that I guess I took some things out of there and haven't replaced them. What I'm really heading over here to show you is these bins were kind of haphazardly filled. Over the years, I kind of got to know what was where and could go to it fairly easily. I'm going to sit down just a minute. And what I did was I'll show you that. I'll go over here. I had an area that was a little bit troublesome for me. It's this area right here where there are albums there now and those drawers. I did have, as you can see, I had shelves there, and I had, there were 8 sections, you know, 4 here and 4 here, that held things like, okay, birthday, things to do with photography, fall, winter, Christmas, you know, just kind of, and then it was kind of outgrowing, and I had trouble storing. It was great if all I had was papers, but the embellishments were kind of a pain. So I pulled all of that out, and that all went into, there's a lot of what was in there that I kind of, well, all of that was in there got moved over to here. And I kind of use this as my benchmark, my whole, like, for example, I started with, this is winter, and I threw, because Valentine's Day occurs in winter, I put my Valentine's supplies here, which includes some embossing folders and some stamps. I don't have a lot of winter supplies, but now I know where it all is. And I put this in here because this is a failed experiment, but, and it's some heavy mixed media that's really glossy and has some little, I don't know, little plasticky things that make it shine. But I was thinking that die cutting a few snowflakes out of that might be nice. So, and even if the black part shows. So I thought that might be interesting, so I'll try that out. This is spring, and I have some, like, lots of collections in there. This is summer, and it's kind of brimming over, and it's got things from lots of different places. I probably can go through this and pull some duplicate papers and things like that and get this down, but for now, I'm happy with that. And this is fall. So those are my seasonal ones. And I showed you how full summer was, so I couldn't put any embellishments in there. So I have this little stack, which were all part of that gift from my daughter-in-law's mother's stash. And so, and they were separate, and they contained, I don't know, they had all kinds of things in them. And let's see, that doesn't seem to want to go all the way back. It maybe that's okay. So, but I stacked it up alongside this one to hold embellishments that these wouldn't hold. So those are summer embellishments, and there's some more summer embellishments there. There are stencils and embossing folders and stamps and punches and dies, I think, that all go with Halloween. And I'm going to label all these with big pretty labels. And more, these are like Halloween embellishments and fussy cuts. These are some sequins that Adam sent me when Dottie About Flair was looking into maybe also doing some shaped sequins. And then Christmas, again, needs to be kind of organized. I just kind of stuffed things. This is also Christmas. And this is empty. I think from here down, they're empty, except the bottom one contains, this is kind of a, because it's always going to be open like that, I don't have another drawer to put in it, and I'm pointing that to you with my toe. Those are recipes, and this used to be over by the kitchen. So I'm going to move those someplace else, and I'm going to put something maybe that can take advantage of that vertical space. Okay, so after my seasons, I go down to starting Christmas papers. And here are some Christmas embellishments in long form, things that wouldn't fit in these drawers. These are 12 inches long. These drawers are 11. So then I go down to, this is pets and kids, collections that or about pets, or you know, like undersea sorts of things, and you know, things like that. I've got sea life and what other collections. So I'm gonna, when I make the label, I'm gonna list what collections are there. I haven't done that yet. And then we go down here to, these are also, this is kids in school. And kind of, these are collections that are things I would use maybe on kids' pages. This is kind of more about kids themselves, you know, lockers from school and trips to the zoo, you know. So these two are very closely related, and there will probably be some embellishments that will go in this area that will match, will go with those. This group of iris boxes, it used to be my only collection storage, and one of them has the wheels on the bottom and the other one doesn't, which is why they're different heights. So I went through all of these iris boxes, and like, for example, this is my October afternoon. I'm never gonna give away or get rid of anything October afternoon. This is camping. This was one of the categories over in the shelving area. This is camping. I don't do a lot of camping anymore. I have a few photographs that I love these supplies, and I don't want to get rid of them now. At some point, I may feel like someone else could be happier with them than I am, which is how I feel about all those things. This is basic gray, and I found some things, and I didn't open the iris box. I just kind of stacked them on top. This is the photography stuff. These are a few collections that have to do with photography, and I love all of these supplies, and I don't know why I don't use them more. I have plans for a page right now. This is all Stephen Duncan, and to be honest, I want to free up one of those stands over there so I can have a Stephen Duncan stand. I really need that. If I need to, I'll buy another one, because those need to be out in the open. This is birthday stuff. This is Amy Tangerine, and again, I probably would never get rid of anything Amy Tangerine. This is not labeled, and I can't tell what it is. Oh, this is Pink Fresh. I had one of these drawers was filled to the brim with Pink Fresh. I couldn't open the drawer, and I was using those things for Pink Fresh Fridays, and we're not doing Pink Fresh Fridays anymore. It's not that I'm not gonna, and Pink Fresh is not doing any more collections. So I went through and I got duplicates out of there, and I pulled a lot of the older embellishments that I'd been through, and I'd pulled all the stickers off that I thought I would ever use, and the rest of them, and the phrases or the images didn't make sense to me. So that's part of what's going to the elementary school. And then this is Graphic 45. That was Ava's favorite paper designer. Jen Hadfield, I kind of culled a lot of the more neutral colored papers from her collections, and I kept the more colorful ones. This is Simple Stories, and I need to go through it, but I'm not likely to give away any of it. Maggie Holmes, I don't know, those of you who've ever shopped at Tuesday Morning, back when they had scrapbooking supplies, they had just the world's largest collection of Maggie Holmes. There were like 10 Maggie Holmes paper pads and things like that. So I bought a lot of that stuff because it was so cheap, and I didn't have a lot of Maggie Holmes at the time, and it was a name that was being used a lot. Every once in a while I'd get something in a Mind the Scrap kit. And I when it gets down to it, the honest truth is there's maybe one or two Maggie Holmes collections that I love and I would maybe buy today, but the rest of it, it's not my thing. A lot of the patterns just weren't me. So those are now going to the school. These two bins without tops are my Hip Kit Club kits, and I need to kind of go back. I tend to use the latest kit and not the previous ones, but I've got stuff here that I really need to use, so I'm kind of keeping it open and visible. I don't know if I'm going to take the lids off. I've seen people on YouTube who take the lids off and then use the lids for something else. I've stored my lids in that closet, but okay, so that's kind of where all of my themed and designer papers are. I'll show you, I think you might have seen it a minute ago. I'll show you my, these are what I'm going to call generic papers, papers that are not associated with a particular collection anymore. They may have been at one time, like this one I noticed is box of crayons. So I'm storing these by color, and this is what did I put up? I put this in the yellow because that's the biggest section there. I've got brown and beige, black, white, and that's white with multicolor is the kind of the thing there, and then gray, and then pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, aqua, or aqua, blue, and purple. Then I have cardstock over here. That's all pattern paper here, cardstock here, and these are specialty papers like glitter paper. You can see here, this is actually 12 by 12 printing paper. That's when I print 12 by 12 or I print photos, I print on that. And then I have some things, I don't know what, this is something I ought to be able to use. This is a little yellow bicycle, another favorite designer. And then that's 12 by 12 cardstock right there. This over here is the 8.5 by 11, and these are the supplies I used when I made cards. And alphas are up there. Need to go through that. I took everything down from my pegboard, and I have to decide what goes back up. So, and that's my John wall. That's a wall of pages about John, and it's kind of looking over where John's computer is. And this is an ink holder, and the inks I'm not going to use. And this holder, I was maybe going to hang some stencils, which is what used to hang from here. All my stencils were on this, and I have too many stencils. The 12 by 12 ones used to hang down here, and then the smaller ones were up there. I have too many. These ribbons were a color-coded dividing line, and this is no longer practical for me, so I hate to get rid of it. This was another acquisition from Archivers, as was the ink holder and a lot of the inks. So, and I apologize for the messiness here. Let's see, there was one other thing. Oh, I was going to show you that in here, I will be distributing these markers and pens and possibly a lot of stamps and those ink pads to my grandchildren. All 4 of them have expressed interest, and so they're going to come and I'll show them. I'm trying to gather, part of my organization is gathering supplies that'll allow them to shop from. So that'll kind of help. Let me go in here. I'll show you the pile of things that are going to Goodwill. There's that. And the stuff that's going to the school, I have a new IKEA, those are called Kallax now, they used to be Expedite. Another one of these that needs to be put together, and Barrett has promised to do that. That's gonna go here, and so this is gonna go away. But this little stack of goodies here goes to the elementary school. And again, I just use, you can see, oh look, they're gonna be so happy with all those flares. And not that I depleted my supply too much. These are the flares I have left. And there's that, and then there's this big box which has a lot of papers in it, and this one that has a lot of papers and sticker sheets, and then this that has some embellishments and miscellaneous things. So these 3 things and all of this go to the school. Now, someday I'm going to go through my ribbon. Someday I'll go through my die. I've moved my dies around. I freed up one of these drawers, and I put the dies that are on these wonderful. These are magnetic, and they're very sturdy, and they are made by someone at my local scrapbook store. So I need to go pick up a few more of those. These are the ones that are on there, plus in back behind those, in fact I'm going to move these to the front, are my Bramble Fox dies. And they're all pretty much the same size except that one oddball one. I'm going to move these back, and I'm going to maybe do some tabs that label, and I might evaluate which dies I need to have in here or not. These can go like that. And then these are the ones that are still in the packaging. And, you know, I kind of know where things are. Haven't done anything with the with my stencil storage, other than I've got my Bramble Fox ones right here, and then everything else, there's even a big Bramble Fox one there. So I need to kind of go through those. Again, that's partly what I'm going to do there, is determining what I'm willing to give to the kids. Now, dies, I have a whole lot of dies that I will never ever use again, but I have no idea what to do with them. They're not something you can give to an elementary school. They wouldn't be any good at Goodwill, you know, because you have to have a die cutter. And I really don't know much what to do there. Our local scrapbooking store, once a year, has like a garage sale type thing where you can bring supplies there, and other people can, it's kind of a giveaway table. I think it's a giveaway. I don't think it's a sale. No, I guess you do set a price. It's been years since I've contributed to it, but I may, you know, look at that. I need to drastically reduce the size of my die storage. And then this is a whole bunch of miscellaneous. That used to be my generic embellishments right there. That was my Calvin ball. I got that before Calvin ball one year. But right now it holds a bunch of mostly adhesive related stuff. Adhesives that I have collected or inherited and don't use as often as the other adhesives, but when I run out of the others, I come to these. So that's that. I also went through I had, where I freed up that one drawer, I had a drawer here that had a lot of sticker sheets. And I kind of went through and I gave away a lot of the sticker sheets. And I got it down. This drawer was also full of a bunch of stuff. These are the 6x12 sticker sheets that have words or icons on them. This is all destination related stuff. And then these are rub-ons, and then these are a few sticker sheets left. I found that I had a million, maybe, I don't know how many are here. A lot of these Bella Boulevard sticker sheets. And they were all back there kind of mixed in with others. So I decided to pull them all, since Bella Boulevard keeps fonts and colors and so forth kind of fairly consistent. I should be able to use any of these with this My Life 365 series. So I instead of having them down in the generic area, I'd put them in the Bella Boulevard area. So that's kind of that. I think that's about all that I have to show you. It didn't take long enough to show you 45 hours worth of work, because it still looks messy. But I kind of had some, like I said, I had some questions. And Sharon, I don't know if this answers your questions about containers and kind of what I keep handy. I have this container I got from Some Assemblage Required. MK sent me this, and it's where I have the bees and ladybugs and alligators and turtles and sunflowers and penguins and baby squirrels. Those are the special little things I put on every page. And right there is a it's a wax, sealing wax set, and I haven't opened it. I haven't used it. This is a container that I bought for $1 at Goodwill. It was purple, and I bought it, and I said, hey, I can use that for something. And this is probably about the 20th thing I've used it for. At one time, it had a lot of these kind of embellishments in it. But right here, I have fall, winter, this isn't winter, summer and spring. So I have my seasonal stuff. And then this is another one of those vegetable trays with a dip in the middle. And I kept it. It was a special one that was done. No, this might have been cookies at Christmas time or something like that. And someone came to the house for a gathering that we had and brought this. And when the cookies were all gone, I started using it for embellishments. And again, it has been used for a number of things. Right now, I've kind of got my perspectives divided up into different categories, including some generics. And I love keeping those handy, having those handy, because I pull these up and I use Bramble Fox. I'm pretty good about using Bramble Fox on nearly every page. And let's see, what other containers? Again, this and this were silverware drawer trays that went with, that were like this, and also this. There were quite a few pieces of that, and I didn't need it when I got the all-in-one sort of thing I have. This is a cute little sign a day sort of stand that Adam sent me as a gift one time. And I'm not really good at changing the signs, but I found the signs, and they're here. Here, let's change a sign. We could go with choose happy. Piss off. There we go. Let's go with piss off. Or maybe we should be nice and say good vibes only. We'll leave it at that. So, good vibes only. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about anything that you saw that I didn't explain, or if you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to entertain them. And I thank you for watching. Bye.